All right, guys, so here is the before pull. Here's a few pulls. The highest we got right at 79 on the horsepower. And then for torque, the best we got was 103. So for a bone stock engine, like I said, this bike is full exhaust and that is it. It's still factory breather. So all things considered, I feel like that's pretty good, but let's see what we can do. All right, guys, so here's a build update. I mentioned I was gonna do different parts other than just Harley's Stage 4 kit. So I ended up going with Star Racing's 3/4 race cam, which presented some problems that I didn't think about. So I ended up having to go with Star's valve springs that are 640 lift, because the valve springs that come in the Stage 4 kit are good for up to a 515. That cam is a 585, so that was probably a disaster waiting to happen. So my buddy Cam, that's actually doing the build, said, let's go with these springs. So that's what we did. As you can see, making good progress and should be on the dyno soon. Let me come over here so hopefully you guys can hear me. I am late to the party, and not because I was shaving the sick stash. I had a business meeting so I could make some money to pay for all this work that we're in the process of doing. But as you can tell, the bike is on the dyno right now, which means he got it fully complete. I just got here, so let's see where things are at. All right, so Cam's been working on it for a while. We're gonna smooth out these little hiccups here, but as things stand, we're at 145 horsepower and 143 torque. Don't expect those values to change a whole lot, but we might get a little more torque. We may lose a horsepower or two in the process, but we'll throw it back on and see what happens. All right, so here's where we ended up. Max power right there at 145. Max torque was 142. As you can see, right around 3,500 RPMs, it really starts to pull, which, as I told you guys before, I ride my bikes high in the RPM range. Usually 3,200 is the lowest I let it drop to. So this is gonna be absolutely perfect for me. All right, so I'm about to hop on the bike, take off. I'll give you guys my final thoughts. We're gonna talk about what I spent to do this, what you would spend to do this, because those are different prices. Do I think it's worth it? And a bunch of other stuff that I think people would like to know. But as I was editing this video, it felt really choppy because I filmed it over the course of like a week and it's hard to remember where you were at and what all you want to show. So I'm hoping to make up for that right now with a cold start. That's one of my favorite things. When someone has a bike with a big cam, I want to hear that cold start. Triggered a lot of people. Dude straight throwing grass onto the highway. Leave a comment down below and let me know, because I know the motorcycle community is very divided. Half don't care and half are trying to like get laws passed and stuff. So let me know where you stand on that. But let's talk about all of this. Also, before we jump into that, let's talk about my gas. So one thing I will say about this kit, and I knew this going in, I've done this to a lot of bikes, your gas mileage will turn into absolute trash, which for some people not a huge deal, but if you're rocking the Softail Standard and have the 3-gallon gas tank, getting like 20 miles per gallon. I don't know what it is, I haven't checked it yet, but you can see my gas light came on. Getting 20-25 miles per gallon with the 3-gallon tank is not the business. But let's get down to business. So, what did it cost me to do this, and what would it cost you to do this? Because those are two very, very different prices, and here's why. So, Harley Davidson sent me that Stage 4 128 kit for this bike. So, huge shout out to Harley for that. That's incredible. Probably one of the coolest things I've gotten as a perk, if you will, of this channel. Not to be outdone by SMT Wheels, who put the wheels on this bike, which was also a pretty penny, so shout out to them as well. But Harley Davidson sent me that kit. Now, if you've watched my content for any length of time, you'll know that the 122 kit from Harley Davidson is my personal favorite. I've ridden that on the Lowrider S, I've ridden it on a Road Glide, and to me it just makes the absolute perfect amount of power, usable power. Because keep in mind, I am the guy that made the very controversial video, put a link in the description, throw the thumbnail up right now. Your bike does not need more power, and that triggered a lot of people, and I get it, and I also get the irony of building an absolute monster out of the lightest bike Harley Davidson makes in the regular bike lineup, excluding the new Sportster models. Anyway, the 122 is my favorite kit. However, for the 107, you can't turn that into a 122. It was either the 119 or the 128. Obviously, you're gonna go 128, especially if you're not having to come out of pocket for it. So, to the best of my recollection, that kit from Harley, the Stage 4 128 from a 107, is $3,500, $3,800, somewhere right in there. I'm throwing it up on the screen right now and editing so that we can be exact, but that's what that kit cost. Now, you would not have to spend the additional money that I ended up spending if you were to install the kit as it comes. And the kit was great. The only thing I would change or add that was not in the kit, if you're just going to install the kit, not change any of the parts, is the tappet cuffs. My stock ones, which is what that kit is going to use, were kind of sticking and hanging, eventually would break, and that would be terrible. So it's like $100-ish to get some from S&S. Highly recommend that. That's what I threw in this one. That's the only thing I would change. Now, I ended up having to do valve springs in mine because I changed the cam. So like I said, I went with the Star 3/4 race cam, which is a 585. The stage 4 springs were good for up to 515, so I had to go with a heavy duty spring. I got the ones from Star that are good for up to like 640, so I'll never have to worry about that. And then, speaking of worrying about things, I went with Star's billet compensator, because once you start to build stuff to this power, your engine will typically find the weak link and start to break stuff. Now, I'm often taking this bike to different rallies and stuff, different parts of the country, and that's the last thing I want. I don't want it to break anytime, but I especially don't want it to break when I'm out of town. Imagine trying to get this thing serviced at Bike Week. Even getting an appointment would be a nightmare. And then obviously I have a connection with Timms Harley Davidson, so I'm going to get discounted labor, which is another thing that I got helped out on that you guys probably won't. I did still pay some labor, but it was probably half of what the average person would pay. So you got to think, I had a ton of hours in labor, and then I also had some dyno time, which is fairly pricey. So it cost me roughly $2,000 out of pocket to do this kit, the extra parts I got and the labor. I'm thinking just a rough ballpark for you to do it would be roughly $7,000 probably. Now, do I think that's worth it? Yes. If you have got the money and $7,000 not a huge deal, or you know, your bike is your baby and that's what you love and that's what you spend your money on, sure, do it. I think it's awesome. Clearly, I like it enough to do it to my personal bike. But I would say don't go in debt to do it. I feel like a lot of people nowadays are only putting 131s in their bike and stuff so they can post it on Instagram, get a little clout, pull up to bike night, pull up to all the bike rallies and stuff, cam, chop, 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 you know, parked, it looks cool, and I agree, it looks cool, and if that's the reason you're doing it, well, that's fine, because that's your money, but don't feel like you have to because everyone else around you is. If I were spending my own money to do all this, I probably would have just done the S&S 475 cam in this bike, and maybe done the valve springs too. I don't know, I would have thought about that. But either way, just a cam in this bike. I mean, it's 650 pounds from the factory. I have no clue how much I've shaved off, but it's a significant amount. And it's got a 150 rear tire, which is another problem with this much power, is I've ordered different tires trying to get something a little more sticky that can hook. Because if you hammer this thing in second, third, even fourth gear, I've been able to get it to break loose at 50, 55 miles an hour. Not necessarily trying, just kind of trying to find that line and find out where it wants to break loose at, which is not what I want. I want it to hook, because I'm not Ryan Crucy, I'm not Unknown, I'm not those dudes out here drifting. So if I swing it out a little too far sideways, I don't know that it's coming back. If it does come back, it may be violent and may throw me over the bars. So that wraps up that. Can't remember if this is the third or fourth video. There is a whole start to finish playlist on my YouTube channel of this Softail build, so I don't remember if this is the third or fourth video, but that may have some people that follow that playlist wondering, well, what's next for the Softail? That's up in the air, because the future of this Softail is up in the air, which will be a completely separate video that hopefully I will make soon and get back to regular posting for you guys. On that note,
I will be in Daytona for Biketoberfest, the 19th through the 23rd, I think are the dates I'll be there. I will mostly be hanging out at the New Smyrna Speedway for the Sons of Speed Billy Lane event. If you've never been, it's a really, really good time. Racing some old Harleys, I mean like 1920s to 1940s model Harleys at 100 miles an hour on an asphalt track, which is insane. But you guys come out to that, come check it out, or if you just see me out and about, say hello. I had someone recently, that mentioned later on, oh, I watched the channel, but I didn't want to make it weird, whatever, so I didn't want to say anything. It's more weird if you don't. So if you see me out, very approachable, very friendly, would love to meet you guys, find out what you ride, etc. So thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, thanks to Harley Davidson for this kit, thanks to Timms Harley Davidson for the hookup on installing the kit and getting this thing on the dyno for me. If you guys have any questions about this build or anything else you think I may know related to motorcycles, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm going to try to get back to answering those like I used to, try to catch almost all of them whenever I can. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Sorry I didn't hammer on this thing in the video, but it's not great for audio, and I'm also unsure of, what the heck. I'm also just not sure of self-incrimination and all that works. So I'm down here in Mexico right now, about to head home. So I'm going to catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.